The Council of Eternal Harmony gathered beneath the vaulted crystalline dome of the Temple of Starsoul on the homeworld Zalvaris. Gleaming with reverence, golden banners shimmered under starlight as High Oracle Virex of the Zealborn Synod raised his luminous tendrils toward the heavens. "The humans are an aberration," he thundered, "a sin in the eyes of the astral womb. Their existence poisons the pattern of divine resonance. By decree of the eternal flame, they must be unmade." I, Kethrin, third scribe of the conquered archives, recorded the moment in silent detachment from the rearmost pew. My six-fingered hands danced across my transcription stone as the fanatics howled in agreement. My species, the Velari, prized thought over violence, but apparently that distinction did not excuse one from mandatory warfront observation. The temple was suffocating. Hundreds of synod ministers, zealots, and court watchers packed the marble rows in rapture. The high glass ceiling swirled with celestial projection, animated constellations blinking with divine rhythm meant to inspire awe. To me, they looked like shackles. Beside me sat Nera Talvos, a military intelligence analyst from the outer orbits. Her scales carried the sheen of radiation-worn colonies, and her smirk glimmered with cynicism. Her arms were crossed, claws tapping her forearms in quiet annoyance. "Look thrilled," she whispered. "Thrilled is the exact opposite of what I feel," I replied. "Does this seem like a war, or a ritual sacrifice disguised as military policy?"
"We're both assigned to the flagship," she said. "Looks like you'll get your answer."
I blinked at her. "Assigned? Didn't you get the directive? We're observers on the sacrosanct radiance." My stomach dropped.
3 solar rotations later, we stood aboard the warship, larger than some continents. It was a grotesque monument to holy vengeance, covered in etchings of flame and rebirth. Its interior walls glowed with pulsating prayer script, designed to respond to the voice of the High Oracle himself.
The Radiance led a fleet of 11,000 vessels heading toward the Solari Cradle, the home system of the humans. My briefing dossier described Earth, Mars, and Luna as culturally erratic, technologically inconsistent, and spiritually diseased. Our leadership called it the Purge of the Profane. I called it suicidal. During the strategic briefings, I asked the question no one dared. What exactly do we know about human defenses? Commander Vorek Skarn, a war-bred colossid with fused bone armor and radiation scars, answered with contempt. The kind of contempt one reserves for vermin or dissidents. They have outdated nuclear arms, minimal shielding, and primitive orbital colonies. Their weapons cannot penetrate even our outermost hulls. And yet we intend to annihilate over 11 billion of them? I asked. Because they offend our theology? The room went silent. "Do not question the astral womb's wisdom," Skarn growled. "Their erasure is sacred."
I watched as the eyes of every tactician, high priest, and fleet commander in the room bore into me. No one spoke, but the message was clear. Be quiet or be recycled.
Nera kicked me under the table.
"Log everything. Interpret nothing. That's the new doctrine," she whispered. I sighed. The last holy war was 4 centuries ago against a race of methane breathers who couldn't even comprehend us. That one ended with their extinction and the spiritual ascension of their bones as a museum exhibit. This felt different. The humans hadn't attacked us. They hadn't even spoken to us. They merely existed.
And apparently that was reason enough to end them. Soon after, we reached the edge of the human system. Their outermost picket line, perhaps 60 vessels, near a cold dwarf planet they called Pluto, stood before us like matchsticks facing a storm. "Pathetic," Skarn spat. "They muster flies to meet thunder." But the fleet mistress Aelari Saun, a cold strategist of the Ashari caste, remained wary. She studied the human vessels carefully. They were small and mismatched, clearly built from varied planetary sources. Some had visible solar sails, others had outdated thermal coils. But their formations were precise, deliberate. They weren't trying to hide, they were trying to be seen. "They haven't seen our full fleet. We should issue the ritual surrender call."
"No!" snapped Oracle Virex, who stood at her side like an echo of madness. "There is no quarter for the irredeemable." Still, a transmission was sent. It was simple.
"Submit to divine obliteration. Resistance increases suffering." A human face appeared on our screen, round, pink-skinned, with hair across its jaw and piercing, amused eyes. "This is Admiral Huang of the United Earth Defense Force," he said. "Did you just ask us to volunteer for extermination?"
When we confirmed, he gave a dry laugh.
"Well, that's refreshingly honest. Usually you lunatics say something about liberation or resource extraction."
Virex stepped forward, screeching, "You mock your annihilation?"
"A little, yeah," Huang replied. "You'll find we're hard to demoralize." The transmission cut.
We launched our vanguard, 200 elite destroyers, fast, powerful, over-engineered for intimidation.
The humans responded by scattering. Their ships fled in multiple directions.
"They're panicking," Vorex said, laughing. "No," murmured Fleet Mistress Aelari. "They're dividing our line."
Then came the payloads. Thousands of micro-objects launched from the human ships, barely detectable. "Debris?" someone guessed. "No," I muttered. "Traps." Too late. They struck.
At first nothing happened, then entire destroyers lost power. Lights flickered, engines cut out, weapons deactivated. Not one exploded, they simply shut down and began to drift.
Panic rippled through the fleet. The humans boarded them, not to destroy but to capture. Small boarding pods latched on with surgical precision. Then, silence.
"They're harvesting our vessels," Aelari breathed. "Bring the main fleet forward," Oracle Virex shrieked. "We burn them all." "Wait," the fleet mistress tried. But the order went through.
Our formation surged forward. The full invasion began.
We didn't know it yet, but we were already inside the snare.
The deeper we pushed into the Solari cradle, the more unorthodox the resistance became. There were no planetary defense grids or monolithic battle stations, no massive orbital cannons or antimatter mines. What we encountered instead was misdirection, attrition, and brilliance. Scout ships vanished into asteroid belts that moments later detonated with precisely timed charges. Navigation systems jammed inexplicably near the gas giant they called Jupiter, where magnetic storms played havoc with our sensors. We lost more vessels not to direct fire, but to clever sabotage, mines attached to heat plumes, decoy beacons luring us into collisions, and silent torpedoes that seemed to strike before they were detected. Every time we attempted to corner a human squadron, they slipped through gaps we hadn't known existed. We would find them again only when another ship vanished in their wake. Even Vorek stopped sneering, his mandibles clenched in growing frustration.
"This is beneath us," he spat in the war chamber. "They fight like vermin." "No," said Fleet Mistress Aelari quietly. "They fight like survivors."
Still the fleet pushed forward. We reached Mars, red, harsh, and supposedly underdeveloped. As we moved into orbit, human resistance stiffened. Enormous rail cannons rose from underground silos, their rounds striking with velocities that dented our frontline dreadnoughts. Electronic jamming thickened like fog. A sudden volley of kinetic slugs annihilated the forward carrier Sanctity of Flame. Over 2,000 aboard. Gone. "What are they doing?" I whispered, watching the chaos unfold. "They're buying time," Nera replied. "For something worse." We pressed on. Oracle Virex ordered a full bombardment. Mars lit up like a funeral pyre.
Fires spread across the surface. Silence fell. For a moment, we believed victory was ours. Then the signals started.
Deep within the crust, from bunkers too fortified for our weapons to reach, human transmitters activated. A pulse shot toward Earth. One burst became 3, then 12. "Encrypted. Massive power output," the comms officer said.
"Block the transmission," Virex ordered. "We can't. It's already through."
Earth responded. We detected a power surge larger than anything our charts had accounted for. From the moon. Lunar. "Multiple launches. Unknown configuration," Aelari reported.
Hundreds of sleek black vessels erupted from the far side of the moon. No registry, no visible thrusters, just silence. And then they surrounded us.
"This isn't an armada," I murmured. "It's a ritual." "It's protocol," Nera said darkly. "Protocol Hellfire."
Before we could initiate any counteroffensive, every display on the command bridge of the Sacrosanct Radiance flickered. Holographic charts dissolved into static, interfaces warped, colors bleeding across impossible spectrums. The stars outside began to blur. A face emerged on every screen simultaneously.
Not a face, really. A mockery of one, human but wrong, the skin pale as frost, veins dark as void ichor, the eyes completely black, like pits leading to nowhere. "Greetings, divine executioners," it said, voice layered, echoing in unnatural cadences. "We have been expecting you." Oracle Virex stepped forward, tendrils rigid. "What is this mockery? Identify yourself."
"A herald," the creature said. "One of many you sought to destroy humanity. Instead, you awakened what they kept bound." "Lies!" Vorek bellowed. "You use illusion to mask your inferiority." The creature smiled. Its teeth were filed into jagged points. No illusion. No trick. Only a pact made in desperation and fulfilled in blood. Without warning, the black vessels latched onto our warships.
The hull of the Radiance shuddered, panels twisted, lights dimmed, then turned a sickly red. Symbols we didn't recognize crawled across every surface, glowing with heatless light. We watched, helpless, as our ships transformed.
The sound came next. Not alarms, not metal, something deeper, a low keening that vibrated through our bones like a dirge sung by the dead. Crew members screamed and clawed at their ears. Others collapsed, convulsing, frothing at the mouth. One officer began babbling in a language no translator could pass. Screams echoed from deeper within the vessel. Reports came in of systems failing, of crew members losing control, of some beginning to speak in languages that no one had taught them. A technician tore out their own eyes, whispering, "I see now."
"What's happening to our fleet?" Elari shouted. "They're being claimed," the herald answered simply. "The entities need anchors. Your technology suffices."
Through the viewports we saw it unfolding fleet-wide. Vessels twisted, cracked open like eggs, reformed into obscene silhouettes. Tentacles of metal and flesh erupted from hulls. Some ships began to pulse in rhythm with that terrible sound.
Some of the transformed ships opened their launch bays, not to fire weapons, but to birth smaller things, misshapen, alive. Dozens of them skittered into space, no propulsion, just movement powered by will or worse.
I grabbed Nira's arm. "We have to run."
"Where?" she asked, voice breaking. "This whole system's become something else."
The stars were wrong. The void between them rippled like water. We weren't in space anymore. We were inside something alive. Alarms blared. The Radiance's walls pulsed like muscle. Some of the corridors closed behind us as if the ship was sealing its own wounds. I saw a junior officer devoured by a bulkhead. He didn't even scream. We ran through a corridor where the lights blinked like eyelids, and the floor pulsed beneath our feet like a heartbeat. One section of the ship had transformed entirely, doors now lined with teeth, consoles exuding mucus. A navigator was stuck to the wall, absorbed to the waist, eyes still blinking.
We made it to the shuttle bay. Chaos reigned. Dozens of escape craft were launching without clearance. One shuttle door shrank as we approached, folding like skin scabbing over. We forced our way onto a craft and launched.
Behind us, the sacrosanct radiance writhed. Its silhouette changed, now a grotesque blend of vessel and creature, bristling with black tendrils and glowing orifices. The rest of our once proud fleet followed, either deformed or drifting, consumed or converted.
Then we realized we weren't alone on the shuttle. A human sat in the back, calm, clean, unchanged.
"Don't be alarmed," she said. "If I meant you harm, we wouldn't be having this conversation."
"Who are you?" I asked, aiming my sidearm. "Dr. Ayla Howard, lead architect of Protocol Hellfire."
She explained everything, how humanity had discovered entities beyond understanding, sealed them across centuries, built fail-safes into every continent, every orbit, every data network.
"We offered peace 17 times, she said. Your synod refused them all.
"And now?" Nira asked.
Now you carry our message."
She touched my data tablet. Glyphs bloomed across its screen. I felt them, not just saw them. Something in my blood shifted. "Anyone who tries to suppress your testimony," Dr. Howard said, "will regret it."
Then she vanished, literally. Just as our shuttle re-entered the edge of known space, the stars snapped back into place.
We were changed forever.
We returned to Velari space after 28 cycles. We didn't speak much. The pilot avoided eye contact. Nira rarely slept. The whispers followed us. Upon docking at Outpost Spire 9, our shuttle was immediately quarantined. A detachment of guards surrounded the landing platform, weapons drawn. A transmission demanded our identification.
This is Scribe Kethran aboard emergency shuttle Delta 19, survivors of the Solari campaign.
Silence. Then authorization. Then escort. Then interrogation. They questioned us for hours. I handed over the tablet. All the evidence is here, I said. A commander reached for it.
The glyphs ignited.
He screamed, pulled back his hand, skin blistered. What is this? Insurance, I replied. We were brought before the Council of Harmony. Virex had survived, but barely. His form was gaunt, his voice unsure.
We told them everything.
They called us liars.
Until the glyphs came alive.
One guard was consumed, his body folding in on itself as the glyphs leapt into his armor, reshaping him into something with too many eyes. It spoke.
Humanity is protected. The pact is sealed. Attempt further aggression and be consumed.
The chamber fell silent. I motion, I said, that humanity be granted eternal protection status and the purge of the profane be recorded as a sacred error. The vote passed unanimously.
I returned to Earth as an ambassador. Nira served as my security chief.
We were met by Dr. Howard herself. "Welcome back, Ambassador," she said. "Protocol Hellfire has been deactivated." She paused. "Mostly."
I smiled nervously.
"Some questions are better left unasked."
"Some pacts are better left unbroken. And some enemies are better left unconfronted."